Hi everybody, my name is Veronica, and the reason for my video today is to talk about crisis, particularly the crisis of sudden loss. A crisis is something that will happen to a human being all around the world at some point in their lives, and it can be sudden and unexpected and devastating. When it comes to the crisis of unexpected death, an individual's life can be shattered in a matter of seconds, and the crisis can become a major turning point in one's life. With thousands of individuals from the crisis of sudden, unexpected loss due to death, it is important to know how to regain one's health and well-being by resolving the crisis through evidence-based therapeutic interventions. The unexpected death of a loved one has been recognized as one of the most stressful situations that a human being will ever face. The recent pandemic has wreaked havoc across the world, and people more than ever are faced with sudden and unexpected loss of their loved ones. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, research showed that unexpected death of a loved one is the most frequently reported potentially traumatic experience that a human being will face, making it an important public health concern. Recent data on the deaths from COVID-19 and other causes reported that COVID-19 is currently the #1 cause of death in the United States, and an average of more than 2,400 deaths are due to COVID-19 alone in the U.S. While it is unclear what the exact prevalence of grief is around the world, facts show that about 2.5 million people die in the United States annually, each leaving an average of 5 grieving people behind, and approximately 1.5 million children, 5% in the U.S., have lost one or both parents by the age of 15. Grief can be a complex and painfully traumatic experience that is unique to each individual, so it's important for each individual to seek an appropriate therapeutic intervention based on their needs. Many individuals may successfully adapt to life after the sudden loss without seeking professional help. However, the stress caused by sudden loss can leave an individual functionally impaired and greatly reduce the quality of life. If left untreated, approximately 1/3 of individuals may develop pathological grief responses that can develop into complicated grief, increasing morbidity and mortality, leaving them unable to heal without therapeutic interventions. A systematic review by Endo was able to determine the 4 most effective, highly therapeutic interventions for dealing with the crisis of loss of unexpected death. The #1 intervention was support groups, where a group of individuals guided by professionals can gather with each other with information, advice, or support on dealing with grief. The second is counseling. The third is psychotherapy. And the fourth is where an emergency psychological care is provided immediately following the unexpected death. It is important not to leave out the spiritual tenet of oneself when dealing with grief. Many individuals may experience a spiritual struggle with God following the crisis of loss of sudden death. Research by Johnson and Armour was able to implement grounded theory techniques that analyze the role of spirituality and religion in the healing process following the loss of a loved one. Scripture reminds us that life is under God's power, and there is no way for man to control when one's life ends, whether it is sudden or not, as found in Job 34:20. In a moment they die, and at midnight people are shaken and pass away, and the mighty are taken without a hand. There is no doubt that every human being will face death and grieving at some point in life. It is important to have interventions that also address the spiritual self. A Christian worldview can be a life-saving tool for those helping those with the bereavement process. While death is not controlled by man, Scripture from Matthew 5:4 states, "Blessed are those that mourn, for they shall be comforted." God will never leave us alone, and He will be there for us in our hours of grief. Scripture can provide faith and comfort to those experiencing the death of a loved one, including Scripture from Revelation 21:4. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things that has passed. Despite any pain or isolation that may be experienced following the loss of a loved one, a biblical worldview reminds us that those who are grieving are not alone. So I just want to urge everyone to seek some kind of therapeutic intervention unique to what will work for you, but do not go through it alone. Thank you. Bye.